GSP is back, and so is UFC President Dana White, now joining us on Coast to Coast. So earlier this month, Dana, you announced that guy, George St. Pierre, one of the sport's all-time greats, is getting back into the octagon after stepping away in 2013. That's a long time. Why now, after 3+ years away, is he returning?
You know, I don't know. He wanted to take a break. He wanted to take some time off for the sport. And, you know, he's been talking about coming back for a couple of years now. I personally wasn't a believer, but he and I got together in Las Vegas. We had dinner, and we got a deal done.
All right, so, I mean, let's not prolong the suspense anymore. We had heard maybe Conor McGregor, maybe Michael Bisping. Break the news for us, Dana. Who's he going to fight?
He will fight Michael Bisping for the 185-pound title. And this Saturday, obviously we have a fight here in Las Vegas for the welterweight title, which he held forever. And we will have a press conference on Friday with him and Michael Bisping. Okay,
so he not only is he coming back after a long layoff, he's got to move up in weight to fight Bisping. Does this, obviously it makes sense for him on some terms, but why did he decide he wanted to come back and step up in class?
Well, you know, I'm not a big believer in long layoffs. Even Muhammad Ali, after a 3-year layoff, you know, didn't look the same. But the Korean Zombie just came back and looked amazing after a 3-year layoff, so who knows? George St. Pierre is always in shape, takes care of himself physically, so we'll see what happens.
How close did you come to making a fight between George St. Pierre and Conor McGregor?
Not even close. You know, George said he could make 155 pounds. I think he wants to come back. Listen, let's be honest here. Everybody wants to take a shot at Michael Bisping, you know. Everybody wants to fight Bisping. They think he's beatable, and obviously George St. Pierre is no different. So he's going to step up, and he's going to try to take his 185-pound title. Okay, we're looking forward to that. When is that going to be? We don't know yet. We haven't set a date yet, but that's the fight. He has to go through USADA. He has to be tested by USADA for the next 3 months. And, you know, there's a lot of things that have to happen for George to come back, and then we'll pick a date.
Okay. Listen, for people who don't know George St. Pierre, this guy was right there. At the height of his powers, how would you compare him as a box office draw to a guy like Conor McGregor now?
Yeah, well, he's one of our biggest stars. You know, you know, if you look at the Chuck Liddell era, you know, then Anderson Silva, GSP. I mean, he was one of the big stars who helped build the sport and helped build the UFC. He never lost his title. He walked away and left the belt. So he's going to. Many people still consider him the 170-pound king. You can't be the man unless you beat the man. So we'll see what happens. All right, so
St. Pierre getting back into the octagon. Looking forward to that against Bisping. Meanwhile, UFC 209 Saturday, a rematch between Tyron Woodley and Stephen Thompson. Now, Danny, you know this whole back and forth. Woodley said on this program that he's the worst-treated champion in the UFC. He's promoted unfairly. You disagreed. You called him a little bit of a drama queen. He was asked about it again on SportsCenter Monday. Here's what he had to say.
Okay.
Look at the current promo. The current promo is talking about how, you know, he was so resilient. Even the music behind it says, give me your best shot, meaning that he took my best shot and he kept ticking. When you look at how a champion is promoted, you know, I'm the champion of the world. This takes a long time to get to this point. This has been a 10-year journey for myself. Why aren't people talking about how many movies I've been in, how many commercials, the fact that I'm a television analyst, the fact that I'm a father, the fact that I'm a husband, the fact that I'm an entrepreneur, a business owner, the fact that I'm from Ferguson, Missouri, a family of 13 in a house of 4 bedrooms. Nobody communicates about that.
Is that directed at you, Dana? Is he upset with the way you're promoting him?
Who knows? Listen, Tyrone, that's all great stuff. Great stuff. You fought to a draw in your last fight. Finish it. Finish the fight. He was resilient. It was that type of a fight. It was a back and forth fight. It was an amazing fight. It was a draw. If that's what you want people to focus on is what a stud champion you are, then go in there and finish it on Saturday night, and nobody will be questioning you whatsoever.
All right, there you go. The last word from Dana White. We'll see what happens in the octagon in Vegas. UFC 209 coming up on Saturday. UFC President Dana White, good to join us today on Coast to Coast. We appreciate it, Dana. Thank you.